Ready.
This is Pod With Me. On today's episode, we have Dr. Liz Aguirre. She's a dentist, a single mom, and like all of us, Dr. Liz has her own story. But what I love about her story, it comes to show you that when you think like Dr. Liz, you can handle just about any obstacle that comes your way. Get ready, because the pod starts now.
Well, maybe we should get divorced. And he said that to me about maybe 3 times in the 6 months we were married. So the third time he said it, I'm like, you know what? Thinking about it, you're right. And when I said that, I freaked out.
Let's go again.
Ready.
Alex, are you ready to pod? Hey, are you all ready? Let's talk.
Alex J. here.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
Let's get a sound check.
Ready.
This is Alex J. Aguiar, and you're listening to Pod With Me. And I'm here with Dr. Liz Aguirre.
Aguirre.
The Aguirre. The Aguirre. You got to get the R's going. All right. So you are a dentist, correct?
Correct.
Not only a dentist, you're also a mother. First of all, let's talk about where are you from and where were you born?
I was born here in Miami. My parents are Cuban. And I've lived here pretty much my whole life, except when I went to dental school at Marquette in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
How was that like?
A big shock because
Yeah.
of the cold weather. I was not used to it, but it was nice, a nice change for a few years.
For a few years, but you were trying to get back to Miami, weren't you?
Yes, of course.
You were mentioning before we started taping that you wanted to be a dentist since you were, what, 7?
6.
Six years old.
Since first grade.
Since first grade. So you were born with, kind of like I was born with the whole passion of television. You were actually, you knew you wanted, when did you discover that you wanted to be a dentist? At age 6, what made you say you wanted to be a dentist? Do you remember that?
I don't remember why I wanted to be a dentist at that age, but I always said it. And then later on, when I got braces, I ended up going to my orthodontist office to work in the summer, and I ended up loving it even more. So I knew I wanted to do dentistry. My mother, though, tried to convince me to become an attorney. She didn't want me to be a dentist. She thought it was gross. And I'm like, I don't want to be an attorney fighting all the time. I want to be a dentist.
So when you went to school to study, you loved every part of it. Was there anything that when you were in the middle of learning that you were like, what did I get myself into? Did you ever feel like that at any moment?
Probably in my freshman year, it was kind of difficult because it was just like medical school. It was mostly like studying book stuff, I'm like hands-on. I like doing things with my hands. Even with my son at school, I love doing his little projects with him because I'm more of like a hands-on person. So when we started doing things in the clinic or in mannequins and things like that, I really enjoyed that. But the book stuff, I was kind of like, oh, this is more book stuff.
If you were to open up a school, you take away the book stuff, or do you still need the book stuff? Or would you just do how to do this cleaning, teaching the process and how to do it? Or do you say you still need the book stuff?
You still need the book stuff, but I feel like, it's very limited the time. It's not like medical school that everybody has to do a residency, so you have a little more time with like the hands-on stuff. So they kind of jam it all into 4 years. So you're doing the book stuff and you're doing the hands-on stuff kind of like simultaneously, and then you have 2 years of actually seeing patients. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they should focus a lot more for the students while they're in school. Maybe the business aspect of dentistry, which they don't teach at all.
They don't teach you how to run the business. Is that what it?
Yeah, not at all. They should do that in dental school now.
You have one child.
Yes,
Okay.
Stefan.
How old is Stefan?
7 years old.
7. Does he want to be a dentist too?
No. He wants to be an attorney, actually. I don't know why, but he has to find his passion, So I am very all about like exposing him to different things. I have him in a whole bunch of different sports, and every time there's like some sort of an experience type of thing, I take him, like Candytopia, I took him, things like that he has experiences, so he can choose what he loves, and he can choose something from that as well,
That's awesome. All right, so are you a single mom, or are you married, or?
I'm divorced.
You're divorced. So how long were you married?
Well, actually, my story is kind of different
hear
because I was married for a short time, just 6 months when I was younger, and that experience wasn't that great for me. So
how old were you at this point?
I was 36.
This is after all dental school. You already had your practice and everything.
And it was a pretty bad experience for me. And I never really wanted to be married, but I kind of did it because everybody was like, you have to get married. You have to get
So
married.
you were following this what society puts upon us.
Exactly. So and since the person I married, we really didn't get along. We didn't stay married. Like after 6 months, I was like, I don't want to be married anymore.
And you weren't in love.
I mean, I was in love when I met him, but during that whole process, he just showed me a side that I fell out of love with,
Yeah, because they say you really get to know a person when you live with them.
Exactly. So we got divorced, and then after that, I said to myself, I'll have a relationship with somebody, but I don't really want to get married again. So I ended up meeting Stefan's dad through a mutual friend, and he's European. And he comes here all the time, traveling with his, business, his family business. And he was living here for a few months, and we were dating, and I had an accident, which was Stefan, But,
Life shows you it was not an accident.
It was not an accident. It was a good accident because I was very happy, and he's.
But before you knew it wasn't an accident, how did you feel at that moment? Or did you ever?
I was super happy.
You were happy.
I always wanted to be a mom.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
And I was already 40. So I wasn't thinking like I didn't have, I was like, oh my God, maybe I can't have a child now because I'm older. I have never gotten pregnant like before. Mm-hmm. He's divorced with 2 children as well. So he's already used to fatherhood, and he was like, well, let's just do it, whatever you decide. And I was like, great, I want to have it. And we both decided like we were going to raise our son. It's a little difficult because he doesn't live here, but he travels back and forth, and
he makes it a point to be part of his life.
Yes, so
that's awesome. So let's say you would have had a kid with the one you married.
I specifically got divorced because I didn't want to have children with him.
Got it, because you already predicted where that would go.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, no, I don't want to have children with you. I think we should get divorced. We don't get along.
I think you make a great decision. Other people would have tried because of society, and you have to try, and you already got married, and you probably would have been miserable having a kid with this person just because of society and what they put upon you.
Yeah. So
you were very liberal and took it upon you and followed your little voice inside, which is very important. And look how happy you are now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Was it difficult for your family to see you going through a divorce, or were they upset? How did they feel about those 6 months?
No, they understood because they saw how he was as well. They saw how he was.
How was he?
He was very controlling. Like, he didn't let me do anything by myself. Even with my family, I couldn't do anything by myself. If I wanted to have lunch with my mom, I had to take him with me. It was very like that, and I'm not used to that. I'm like a free bird, I like my freedom. So when he started like suffocating me, that's when I was like, I can't. I can't.
When you told him you can't, what did he say?
Well, he actually was the one that was, like saying, well, maybe we should get divorced. And he said that to me about maybe 3 times in the 6 months we were married. So the 3rd time he said it, I'm like, you know what? Thinking about it, you're right. And when I said that, I freaked out. I think he was trying to control me another way.
We're going to
with
saying
the divorce comment. And I was just like, you're absolutely right. We don't get along. You married me knowing I was a certain way, and you're trying to change me, and I'm not going to change. And it's just easier, I think, if we separate now, and you'll find somebody else that you're going to be compatible with and be happy. And you know how they say, sometimes you meet people for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Mm-hmm. Well, I helped him, when he was going off on his own to start his own business, because I had already started my both offices when we met. So I kind of helped him with that. So I told him, I go, maybe I was put in your life to help you like start your business, and you started it, you're ready to go, and it's time for you.
Maybe not only that, maybe to see things in another way and prepare him for the next person he's with, maybe.
Yeah, maybe whatever it was, but like I knew that it was the end for us, so.
What advice do you have out there for ladies who are in a relationship actually being manipulated or maybe controlled at this moment?
Well, I mean, you always know you're in a certain situation. I mean, some people like to like pretend that they don't know what's going on, but deep down inside, you have your gut feeling, like you said, and other people see it, And I think a lot of depends on what is it that you really want. You know, some people don't like being alone and they will, you know, put up with that because they'd rather be with somebody than be alone. Like, it just depends on what is it that you really want in your life. You know, like for me, it was not that. You know, I wanted, if I was going to be in a relationship, to be with someone that understood me and accepted me the way I was and wasn't going to try to change me. And, you know, that we have things in common, we get along, and, you know, and I have a boyfriend now that's like that. So I'm very happy that
He's the total opposite. He lets you be who you are.
Yeah, he's total opposite.
And that's how relationship works because,
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, we've talked on the show a lot about relationships and we learn through each relationship how to be and not to be, and it prepares us for the next.
I would date all the time, but, you know, I never really kind of clicked with anybody. And I wasn't the type of person that I would just like be with somebody to have someone. You know, I'd rather, I wanted to have that person that I knew was going to be my, you know, other half or whatever you want to call it. And I wasn't even looking really. And my boyfriend, I knew him for like 4 years. We met at CrossFit when I used to do CrossFit, and we were always working out together and everything. And like just one day, you know, he starts asking me, hey, you want to do this or you want to do that? And, you know, me, I've always been like so like my mom says, despistada. Like I never know, like, oh.
Sidetracked.
Yeah, like my mom's like, that guy's into you. I'm like, really? I don't think so. Like that type of thing. And he was, and I wasn't. I thought we were just friends.
You never felt any flirtation or anything toward?
No, I thought we were just friends. You know, that we were just hang out.
And when was it that you realized, okay, this could be that my mom is right or something?
He was telling me stuff, and I was like, oh, okay.
Later, he started telling you stuff.
Yeah, he started telling me stuff like.
I guess he saw the signs wouldn't work. I can just picture him. That didn't work. The wink she didn't see. She didn't see my wink. What was it that he said that you finally said, okay, this looks real?
Nothing. He just started like dating me, and he like, you know, obviously they lean in for a kiss or something, like, oh, okay, so it's like that, is it, you know? And nothing. We just get along well because we have a lot in common, and he's not, you know, he's not like a controlling person, you know, and he has a child too, so we understand each other because we're both parents, so it just makes everything like very easy.
That's awesome. I mean, I've had guests on the show that they girls that they say it's difficult to find a guy in Miami. What do you have to say about that?
Again, it's not difficult to find a guy. It's to find the guy that fits with you, maybe. But I don't think anything is difficult.
I think it's your energy, right? It's your
energy, and it's how you put it out in the world. Because I feel like I said before, people, they don't love themselves enough, I guess is the word. Because, you know, you can date somebody, and if they're not giving you the attention you want, why are you constantly trying to make it work when it's not working? Mm-hmm. You know, I have friends that I tell them, you know, if you just don't want to be by yourself because you want something to do or to have fun, you can have the fun guy, you know, and you know that that's not the relationship guy, but, you know, you have fun with the fun guy and you like the fun guy, but don't think he's going to become the relationship guy. You know, you can have fun with him while you keep dating other people then, and you'll eventually find the relationship guy. But I think people focus on one guy that they want to like mold that person and change them to be what they want, and that's never going to happen.
Yeah, because you can't change anybody at all.
Exactly. So if this guy's telling you he doesn't want a relationship, listen to what he's saying. You want to be in a relationship with him, I get it, but he doesn't want to be with you or anybody else. So just have fun with him.
I think Liz is going to be my co-host from now on. It's true. I mean, I never force upon a relationship. Even if I like someone, if I sense it's not mutual, I just disconnect because it doesn't turn me on.
Yeah, exactly. You both have to be like, you know, you the little texting back and forth. You know, you want the attention and you want to give the attention, because tampoco you're gonna be like always giving the attention. You have to like, you know, be, you know, compatibly doing it the same. But you know, it's like anything else in Miami. In the beginning, everything is...
Or anywhere else.
Yeah, in the beginning, everything is like... And then all of a sudden, you know, people pull away.
Because they get scared, and then they realize they're not into that person as much as they thought, or they don't want to go that direction, or...
Exactly.
Whatever the case may be. Your boy is 7, it's just you and him?
Yes.
All right, so when he starts dating, what advice are you going to start giving him? Are you prepared for his teenage years?
Oh my gosh, no, I'm not. Because he's such, you know... He's very cute, and he's very smart. And he already gets attention from girls at his age. So I'm like, everybody's like, cuídate, because he's going to be tremendo. And I'm like, oh, no, don't say that, please. But, you know, I'm always very like, I have this friend that I call him the most interesting man in the world, because he's done so many different things, and has had so many different jobs and all these things. And I kind of like want to make my son be one of the most interesting men in the world too. That's why I give him so many different experiences. And I also teach him about how to treat a woman or a lady when we're walking. I mean, now he's a child, so I put him on the inside, but I'm like, when you're older, you're gonna have to do this for the girl. You know, girls always go first. You have to let the girl go first. You know, every opportunity that I have, I try to do that. And I'm very lucky that my boyfriend is a gentleman, and he also is like opening doors, and he tells him the same thing. So I really think that we've lost that in society, and it should be there.
A lot of the kids nowadays are always on their phone, or they're not paying attention to anything.
He doesn't have time hardly to be on the phone, I don't give him my phone. He doesn't have time to be on the computer too much. I have him in like different sports. I have him busy. So there's very limited time.
Does he play? Are there any kids in the block he plays with outside or anything like the old days? Does that?
No, he goes to school, and then he goes to like basketball practice, and those are his friends from the little, team that he plays in. And then he does tennis. He does golf.
Wow.
He does boxing. I do boxing. So
all that at once?
Different days. You know, like on Sundays when I go to my boxing class, he comes after my class is over. My trainer takes him and does boxing with him. Or like on Saturdays, he'll have tennis. Friday, he has golf. And the most he does is the basketball, that he has more days of the week. So, and then the tournaments and all that.
What do you have to say to those parents out there that just lets them play video games all day long?
That's really not good for them. They need to be physical, and do physical things, because they're playing on that, but what does that do?
And social with the kids.
Even though they are kind of social on that, because when he plays, sometimes he Skypes with his friends and they play together. So they're seeing each other, but it's still like,
it's different.
It's not, they call it like a play date, but it's not really a play date. They're like on the computer. I don't really like that. So
when we went to school, we never had to deal with active shooters. Does that get you nervous? Do you ever think about that, or what's going on? Do they ever talk about that in school or anything?
He goes to a private school, and they have like security, like tight security and stuff. So I don't really worry about that too much. And even in the morning, there's police officers all around the school. So I don't really think about that too much. But you have to be careful with it.
I think about when we went to school, we never saw that.
No.
We never even heard about that.
Yeah, I know.
So now I'm thinking, imagine going to school nowadays, how difficult it might be for some, right?
Yeah, totally.
So, all right. So, Liz and I are in a group called BNI, which is how we met. BNI is actually for businesses, and tell us a little bit about BNI.
BNI stands for Business Networking International, and it's worldwide. It's
about over 85,000 people, I think.
Yeah, there's in Europe and China, everywhere, India. Yeah. So if you ever travel anywhere, you can visit another BNI chapter if you want to see how they do things. We've had many people visit our chapter.
Have you traveled and thought about going to a BNI chapter?
No, I have not. But I know people that do, especially people that are international and trying to start a business here in the United States. A lot of them will come and connect, especially in our group, because we have so many members. I have met people that are like from Italy or Canada and stuff, and they've come to our group and they've said what they're trying to do, and then they start talking to people. And so
and what brought my attention to BNI is that they're very strict, and that's why it works. If you miss more than 3 times, we meet once a week. There's a beautiful breakfast, and you have to be interviewed to get into the group and be accepted, right? And then everybody you have 26 seconds. Like if I was on TV, I've been in TV all my life, and there's a little bell that rings and everything to tell your commercial of what you're promoting for your business that week If you miss, you have to send a substitute, like a substitute teacher, to do your promo. And if you miss without the more than 3 times, they can actually get you out of the group.
They warn you first, but yeah, they just start seeing your attendance. I mean, we've had people that they've kicked out because they have bad attendance. Yeah, wow. Because if you're there and you don't show up, you're actually it's bad for the group because you're not helping the group. Like, we all go there to help each other, so if you're looking for a specific thing and I'm not there to listen to it, it affects you.
The whole point of this is give and receive. So
they say givers gain. Like, you're more about giving, and eventually you do receive in some way, but it's more about how can you help the people in your group. And if you're thinking, how can I help you, other people are thinking, how are you going to help me?
So that's awesome. So yeah, that's how we met, and that's why she's here. Let's go back to dentist, to your office. Where's your office?
I have 2 offices. One is in Coral Gables, and the other one is in Hialeah Gardens.
All right. So anybody that lives in Miami can go visit Dr. Liz de Aguirre.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's how the office is called?
The one in the Gables is my name, Elizabeth de Aguirre, DDSPA, and the other one is Expert Smile Center.
Awesome. All right. So what makes your office special?
I think that I have a very great team. We all get along very well. We've been working with each other for a long time. I feel like I value people's time for the most part. I run on time. There are those days that I'm a little bit behind because there's emergencies, but I try to be on time. So if you're in my office, you don't have to wait more than 10 or 15 minutes ever. Which to me is important because I don't like waiting in an office when I go to a doctor's office, and I've had to wait sometimes an hour. So I try not to ever do that. I am also very gentle with my patients. I take time with them. I'm not rushing around. I feel like I treat them the way I would want to be treated if I was sitting in the chair. And that's how we try to treat our patients,
That's amazing. Any new technology, any new stuff, treatments that are out there that are interesting?
So many all the time.
Tell us one that you guys have that you love, that's brand new, that finally came out or something.
One of the things that I use that a lot of dentists don't have is something called a CariView, which it looks like a little pen and it's like a little camera. And you put it on the tooth and it shows like a light all the way through the tooth and it takes a picture. So you may see on an x-ray like a little shadow somewhere that you're not sure if it's a cavity or not because it's so small, and an x-ray is 2-dimensional, so sometimes it kind of tricks you. But when you use that light, you can definitely see if it really is or not. You can see it clearly, and sometimes it looks pretty big compared to what you thought it was going to be something small, and you're like, wow, look how big that was. And it's great in aiding you to diagnose things because you can catch things early on, and the patient, could have had some cavity that became like huge, but you caught it at a certain stage where it's small. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's big enough to do a cavity, but not big enough that it's almost a root canal, you know?
How important is it to brush your teeth? Why is it so important to keep your teeth healthy, besides not having bad breath?
Well, if you have plaque buildup and it stays there over a period of time, it gets hard and it becomes tartar. You cannot take the tartar off. That's why you come to the dentist, because we have to scrape it off with our instruments. So if you have tartar buildup for a prolonged period of time, it's like an acid and it starts eating away at the bone. And that's why people sometimes, if they don't go get their cleanings for 3-4 years, they start getting bone loss. And once you lose bone, it doesn't grow back really, So that's when your teeth start getting loose and all that type of thing. You don't ever want that to happen. So
got it. I gotta come see her because it's been, I don't want to say how long right now, but no, I do brush. But yeah, now that I hear that, all right.
Some people are lucky though, genetically, and they don't have a lot of issues with their gums. They get more, cavities. Everybody's different.
I've never had a cavity.
So yeah, there you go.
Never. Is it true? I've heard that people who don't get cavities have the special saliva that protects. I don't know.
You would have to check it, but yeah, and usually people that don't get a lot of cavities, their saliva is more basic, not acidic. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, cool. All right, Liz, thank you so much for being on the pod. Any advice out there you want to give anyone? Any type of advice you want to give for anybody trying to make it happen or anything?
Well, I feel like if you really love what you do and you really want to do something, that you don't give up. You keep trying until you get to where you want to go, right? Yeah. Everybody should follow their dream, basically.
Thank you so much. And one more thing.
Don't fall off the pod.
For more on Pod With Me, if you have not done so, go to the App Store and download our app. You can also go to alexjaguiar.com, and we are also on social media. On Facebook, you can go and follow us on Pod With Me AJA. On Twitter, it's Alex J. Aguiar. And on Instagram, it's Pod With Me. This is Alex J. Aguiar, and thank you for listening. And remember, don't fall off the pod.
Let's get a sound check.
Ready.